It's not worth it. Your life is worth more than the Airbnb deposit. And he ties them up where they can't scream for help. That's so terrifying. His pizza got stolen. That's the real crime of this whole situation. Mango, excuse me. Do you mind, girlie?
I'm just thinking, how does one end up in the clown profession?
Hey guys, happy Halloween and happy spooky day. I am so excited. As you guys can probably tell, I'm dressed up in my Halloween costume, an angel, a little basic, but I'd like to think the headpiece kind of pulls it all together. And if you guys are dressing up for Halloween, let me know in the comments. What are you dressing up as this year? Or, if you're posting some photos on Instagram, do tag me at Honey Hearts Podcast on Instagram. I want to see them. Now, I asked you guys, what should we do for the Halloween episode, guys? It is very important. And a lot of you guys suggested, maybe we should say maybe go through some spooky stories. So we're doing just that. We're going to be reading a lot of stories from r/Let's Not Meet. So expect some spookiness and you're in for a treat, or should I say trick. Let's get into our first story. Usually I do save our wild picks as kind of like a little bit deeper in the episode, but today I thought, why not? It's our first one. So wild pick is literally just a story that I felt was a little bit kooky, a little bit wild, a little bit out there, but I wanted you guys to hear it. So this one is from the subreddit Let's Not Meet. Do you know what the subreddit Let's Not Meet is?
Not at all.
So it's actually recommended from one of the subscribers, and it's a thread full where users or people on the internet will submit true scary stories. Basically of encounters where they're like, let's never meet again. Let's not have this happen ever again.
Interesting.
The title of this one is Creepy Naked Guy Stole My Pizza. This happened a few hours ago, and I'm not scared anymore. Just angry my pizza got stolen. In my town, there's a story that a guy has moved into the deep woods close to our town. I never believed it as I go for night drives occasionally and never saw him or anything resembling a man that lives in the woods. Anyway, tonight I decided to go for a drive and drove past a pizza place. Being hungry, I decided to get a pizza before I went home. In my head, I had a plan to eat pizza and play some Minecraft as I'm in my 2-week Minecraft phase at the moment. I paid for my pizza and started walking to my car with the pizza in one hand and my phone in the other, messaging my friend if he wants to play some Minecraft when I get home. I look up from my phone to cross the road to the car park, and I see something under my car. It looks like a shadow or something dark. I put my phone in my pocket and pull out my keys. I unlock the car to scare off anything close to the car. I was thinking it may be a cat or a dog just hanging around my car, but when I unlock the car, nothing happens. No cat running away and nobody running away. The shadow looked like it was cast from the driver's side, so I was gonna have to look at what it was, whether I wanted to or not, to get in. I put my keys away and pull out my phone again and turn the flashlight on to see better in the dark. As I turn towards the driver's side of my car, I see him. A dirty naked guy with big eyes staring right at me. He was crouched down trying to hide from me. Now, I don't usually get scared of anything, but this guy scared me. He looked like he rolled around in mud and it dried out his skin. His eyes looked creepy, bloodshot, and kind of bulging out of his head. And he was naked. I get startled and jump backwards out of instinct, dropping my pizza in the process. It falls out of its box and onto the floor. I start moving back slowly and shout at him to get away from my car. He looks up at me, then at the pizza, then back at me again. He tilts his head to one side and then jumps towards the pizza like a dog, grabs it, and starts running away down the road, and I assume he ran all the way into the woods. I wouldn't know where he went as I didn't feel like following him. I lock my car and run back to the pizza place and stay there for a bit. The workers obviously don't believe me when I tell them what happened, but I know what I saw. Once the fear subsides after a while, I realize that this guy just stole my pizza. Angry as I was looking forward to it, I decide to get another one and run to my car this time. I get in, put the pizza on the passenger seat, and go home. Once I got home, I locked all my doors and windows. I even locked my bedroom door as I feel a little scared still. I think I'll be playing Minecraft until the sun comes up. Creepy, dirty, naked guy that lives in the woods close to my town, I never want to see you again because I may have to fight you for stealing my pizza. I hope you guys enjoyed our first spooky reading. And I know Halloween, it's usually trick or treat, but I hope you'll give me a treat by hitting like on this episode and hitting subscribe, guys. Thanks. That was our first story, guys. How'd I do? How'd I do?
Pretty good.
Okay, can I confess something to you guys? I love horror. Well, actually, let me correct that. I love horror thriller. Like, I'm not much into the gore, but give me a good thrill, like something kind of semi-realistic. I don't know, like, what's a good thriller movie we watched recently? I guess 1922. We watched recently on Netflix. It's a good one if you're into something that's like a slow burn feeling of dread that creeps onto you. I like those types of movies. So for me, I had two conflicting feelings. Part of me wanted to laugh and part of me wanted to cry reading the story to you guys. Okay, the part that wants to cry, that would terrify me. I literally hate parking lots at nighttime. I hate it. I will refuse. I will rather stay at a closed down IKEA than go to a parking lot alone to my car. That was gonna sound so dumb, but honestly, I'd rather be shut in an IKEA after hours. It's scary. There's something about the parking lot that's just menacing. You don't know if someone's gonna like jump out at you, even though it's completely barren. You have that fear? Walking down a dark parking lot?
I don't know. I don't actually.
See, Mr. Deep Voice here, will never know my terror. It's just like I feel paranoid. Before Emma and I ever dated, whenever I had to walk down like any parking lots or any parking garages in general or whatever at night and alone, even if there's a few cars, if there's like maybe like two little cars, I feel some sort of way. Like I feel like something's gonna jump out at me from the cars. So I feel OP's terror. However, I'm kind of pissed and I'm kind of laughing as well because his pizza got stolen. That's the real crime of this whole situation. Mans is just trying to get home, have his nice little pizza Minecraft time, and out of nowhere, not only is he terrified out of his wits trying to get home, but the guy stole his pizza. And what do you do when someone steals your pizza? Is it worth risking your life? No. But like, you can't tell me you didn't hesitate and think about it for a second, right? Risking your life for the pizza?
I don't know about that.
No, just me. Ah, I don't know what's scarier. The fact that the guy is not like, we talked about having clothes or not clothes and being in situations where you get caught off guard in our last episodes, right? Now, what do you do when the person who's catching you off guard is naked? I feel like that doubly freaks you out because it's almost like you can't out crazy something that's already so overboard crazy. At that point, you just give up. OP, I think you made the right decision. You valued your life, gave up on the dang pizza. I appreciate your bravery in marching right back into the pizza place and getting another one and doing the whole thing again, but this time sprinting. So, kudos to you.
So, do you think the guy pre-planned it?
Huh?
Like the naked guy pre-planned the whole?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he knew. I mean, really, coincidentally, he's in a parking lot of a pizza place. I bet you this is not the first time this creepy guy did it. I don't think he meant any harm. I think really there's a chance that this guy was maybe someone homeless, maybe someone just really hungry. The naked part, I can't explain that. But man just really wanted a pizza and he went for it. This scared me though. Oh, I just imagine OP's like second run to the parking lot. He's like, all right, this time he can't get my pizza. And he's just sprinting to his car. So let's see comments. First one from Harry Smutter. That's honestly terrifying. Also, I'd be super pissed that the bat stole your pizza. Did they at least replace it for you or did they charge you for another one? Oh, that's the real question here. OP responded to this one. Got charged.
Is the pizza place on it?
Oh, that would be so. I don't say it's good. It's bad. It's bad. It's morally wrong. But think about it. Would that not be such a good business scheme? You have someone pre-plan it, scare off your customers while they're holding mid pizza. But then, oh no, no pizza. So
I think you said the key part there, scaring off the customers. I don't think it would work. Scrap that idea.
But think about, for every customer you do keep that is hungry enough to outweigh their horror and terror, they go back and get a second one and pay double price.
Yeah, but the real question is, would they come back?
They never
Is
come.
it a pizza worth dying for?
I guess depends on how good it is. Another comment from Medium Cheese. Very appropriate username. I'm so sorry, but maybe the way it's written, bro, I was laughing so hard. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes there are moments where if I were to be in OP situation, I would be crying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a scared cat. I would be screaming, crying. I don't think I would be brave enough to go back in for that second pizza, OP. But the way OP wrote it was too funny. Sometimes things are so scary you start laughing. OP responded to this one. It's okay to laugh. I tried to make it funny for my own sake, as humor makes me feel better. I'm dying. Wait, is there a cat behind me?
Yes.
I think my cats are very entertained by the angel costume. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm a little bit rattled because there's like a little dangling jewel piece on top that kind of wiggles around. So I'm kind of scared because Mango's kind of brave. She might swipe at my head any second.
Or they might mistake you for a bird.
No, they might think I'm a giant bird now. Oh, and brownie points if you guys saw two cats in this frame. So Mango is my orange tabby. She's right behind me, hovering, trying to swat at my head, which is kind of terrifying. But Beanie is the one that's very peaceful. She's kind of hiding on the side here. So yeah, that was our first story, guys. I hope if that didn't terrify you, I hope that gave you a little bit of a chuckle at least. We're starting off our scary journey right. How'd you rate the story?
I found it more entertaining than scary.
That's good. That's good. At least it's not scaring you. I think scary stories are always more fun when they're listened to together, or you're even the scary movie when you're watching with someone. I love watching like something scary or spooky, but with someone and during daytime so that you're less freaked out afterwards. All right. Our second story is also from the subreddit Let's Not Meet, but we're going to dial up the intensity a little bit, guys. So this story reads, Airbnb owner was acting weird. So I left when I saw a chair with ropes in my bedroom. What can go wrong? You go into an Airbnb, there's chairs with ropes around it. Maybe the guy's into modern style, cool niche furniture, right? What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't see a good reason to have that chair.
No matter we spin it. So OP says, I was watching a YouTube video where the YouTuber tells Let's Not Meet stories of weird encounters with landlords or in hostels, reminding me of this one that happened to me a few months ago. I feel like this is storyception. OP says, as I said, this happened a few months ago. If I remember correctly, in January or February 2024. I was visiting family in southern France and did not want to stay at their place, even if they offered, for personal reasons, which I won't share here. Note that I visit them quite often and usually last minute. So I would never book the same place, and I would sometimes book a hotel room, which was more expensive, but better for me as I don't necessarily want to socialize with the hosts. Even when I would book Airbnbs, I would always search flats or studio flats, and not a room in a flat or house where other people live, as I want to be on my own, so this is an important criteria for me.
Getting attacked?
I think Mango thinks I'm a bird. My cat thinks I'm a bird. She's hovering around my head. There's a chance my headpiece will not make it past today. So I booked this Airbnb within walking distance to where my... Mango, excuse me. Do you mind, girly? We got a production here. So I booked this Airbnb within walking distance to where my family members stay. And it looks very nice on paper. I think it was marketed as a house or ground floor flat with access to a yard and garden. It was probably one of the cheaper options. I don't remember for sure, but I wasn't going there for leisure or planning to have a very nice place for myself to have an enjoyable holiday, if that makes sense. So I really wanted something for convenience and wouldn't pay extra for any kind of luxury. There were not a lot of reviews, but the few were pretty positive. So I go to that place with my suitcase waiting in front of the house. I contact the landlord, who should give me the keys, but he's late. I spent at least 1 hour waiting outside, and I'm trying to be patient, realizing at least the neighborhood is pretty nice and seems safe, even if I need to walk through areas that are slightly dodgy to get there from where my relatives stay. the landlord finally arrives. He seems like a good man and apologized profusely, saying he was in another town visiting his cousins or friends, and time flew by. First red flag. He says they were drinking and didn't have time to sober up, so he had to speed up on the highway on his motorbike while being tipsy or drunk. He stops and asks me half jokingly not to say that in my review. I get a bit serious and tell him he shouldn't drink and drive, but he says he really didn't want to make me wait any further. I tell him I won't flag that in my review. Spoiler alert, I will. But I didn't want to start off on the wrong foot. The guy is nice otherwise and seems trustworthy, very chatty and open to socializing. And frankly, I was just happy I could finally get in and drop my stuff. Second red flag is when he tells me I'll be living in a small flat adjacent to the bigger house he lives in. But I shouldn't worry because I would have my own place, own bathroom, own kitchen, etc. I don't like that too much, but I actually think it might be good because I'm not super comfortable being on my own in a ground floor accommodation, knowing anyone can get into the yard and access the front door. Again, I'm paranoid. So knowing that someone I know is close by in case something happens gives me a sense of safety. God, was I wrong. He shows me around. All seems okay. It's pretty old, but as I said, I wasn't looking for a luxury stay. The part where I would stay is on a lower level than street level. Not exactly like a basement because there's access to a garden, but I need to walk down a set of stairs outside and get into a flat through the backyard. This shows mostly when I'm in the bedroom, as I see through the windows that it's clearly at a lower level. Next red, or rather yellow flag, is when he shows me a door close to the bedroom, which is the connecting door between my part and his house. I was kind of expecting that, but I thought he might need at least to cross the yard or access through the front door to get into my part of the house. He says this door stays closed, and it's locked anyway. Not as a warning for me not to try to open it, but more like, you'll notice there's this door, it's useless for you, and what's beyond it is not part of what you're renting. We chat a little bit, too long for my taste, because I was tired and also still annoyed at his lateness and not in the mood to socialize. He gives me his phone number because, quote, Airbnb chat feature is not good. It's easier to use WhatsApp. And then he leaves. I'm pause here for a second because I don't know if you guys are getting that feeling. I'm getting that pit in my stomach where I'm just mentally screaming, OP, you should have left like 3 red flags ago. What do you mean? Why are you just listing all these red flags? Homegirl. This is like watching a scary movie where you know the chick is walking towards the dang sound. Like she hears something in the house and she's walking towards it and you're like, no, don't walk towards the danger. Walk away. Run away. Call the cops. Leave the house. No, she walks towards it. Ah. Never trust any Airbnb host that will tell you, let's take this off the app. Okay, I do not trust. I've used Airbnb's chat feature. It's not bad. It's like any other chat feature. I don't know. How robust does it need to be? As long as messages are sent, you can communicate. It should be good enough. Oh. What's your advice to OP at this point?
I don't know. I think it's a red flag to take communication outside of the Airbnb app.
You think it's an issue that the combination is a little bit different than what it was listed?
Well, I think that would be my biggest issue.
So originally, it seems like it was listed that it was kind of like the flat that she was renting would be in the area, but like next to, but not completely like sharing a wall. But then she finds out that it's sharing a whole door.
Yeah, I think it should be listed somewhere in the listing itself, right?
I would leave. I'm feeling all sorts of grossness. But let's see. Hold your horses. OP says, I start to settle down, open my suitcase, and get changed before leaving to visit the family. I then go back to the place in the evening and decide to have a shower. If I remember correctly, what I'm saying next happened before I took a shower because I remember locking the bathroom door, which I never do when I know I'm on my own, and I recall being quite anxious when taking the shower. So, biggest red flag before the last drop. I'm sitting on the bed and I hear a knock and someone saying my name. 2 seconds later, before I get the chance to answer or even understand where the noise comes from, I hear keys turning in a lock and a door opening. As you might have guessed, it's a connecting door next to the bedroom. The guy enters and says he can't find his phone and if he might have left it downstairs. I'm a bit shocked, probably because if he had come 10 minutes later, I would have probably been naked, ready to take a shower, or maybe walking around in a towel since I'm supposedly alone. I know it might sound like I'm a but keep in mind, I'm a relatively young woman alone in a house with a man in his 40s or 50s who has control over when he can get into my place at any time. I stay polite and try to tell him that no, I haven't seen his phone. I would have noticed there's literally nothing except my open suitcase on a couch in the bedroom. He still gets in, speaking a lot and very fast while I'm sitting there, not fully realizing what's happening and not having a chance to tell him to leave. He looks around the flat and obviously doesn't find the phone. Then he says sorry and asks if everything's fine, if I had dinner or something like that, and then leaves again. Opie, I feel like you're shaving lifetimes. Like you're shaving years off my life here. I am nervous for you. I'm just glad that you survived this ordeal to write about it because otherwise I would assume based on the story that you are in a ditch somewhere. Oh my gosh. Who does that? This is no, leave. Now, I hope if in the next paragraph you don't say you left right away, Opie, I will have zero hope in you. Literally. Zero hope for your survival. Because, okay, so he says something 2 seconds later, he's turning the key. Why? To look for his phone? It's been hours. Opie went out in the evening, came back. She's about to take a shower, relax, like evening time in an Airbnb. That's when people start, getting ready, winding down, changing to get into bed and be vulnerable. I think it was pre-planned.
Could be. Yeah, I agree with you. At that point, the OP should have just pack the suitcase and leave. Get a refund, get a new place, go to a hotel or something, right?
Oh my gosh.
I wonder, did this listing have reviews on it?
So she said there were only a few.
Yeah.
That it's okay. I'm not gonna I can't I don't work for Airbnb, so I can't say whether there's like what the system is in terms of who validates all the reviews. What I will say is this. I also have had a bad experience where I booked an Airbnb. Photos look great. There were very few reviews since it was newer, but I think all 3 or 5 of the reviews that were there were so good. There were like paragraphs. They were looking legit people, all 5 stars. I went there. There were so many things wrong with Airbnb. So I am questioning if this case is also similar to that. This guy could have just fake rented it to friends or something and then had them put reviews on. I don't understand how this person got so many good reviews for his place if he's acting like this. Now, OP says, at that point, I'm really wondering if I should stay or not, since I know you get refunded only if you cancel 2 nights in advance. I just thought I would lose some money for the night that has started. It was already after 11 p.m. And the following one, knowing I had booked at least 4 nights. I really needed to take a shower, but was questioning if I should. I try to see if there are available hotel rooms, but it's already too late to book or already fully booked. I decide to take my shower real quick. Homegirl. So many red flags. Girl, you need a traffic ticket because at the rate that you're running past these red lights, like, oh, girl, how on earth did you survive this? I am just questioning you. I would not feel comfortable showering. I would just sleep there. I would be dirty, grimy. I don't care. I'm just going to sit there in my grime. I will sit there in filth, but at least I will be clothed and kind of ready for anything. Oh, no. Something bad's going to happen. That's my prediction. Something bad is going to happen the minute she jumps in that shower. I decided to take my shower real quick, wondering if he could hear the shower and decide that he forgot something else to get in again. Nothing bad happens. I then go back to the bedroom, get dressed as fast as I can just in case, sit down and think. I decide that I will just stay for the night and I'll probably be less paranoid in the morning, if I'm still alive. OP, girl, That's when I notice the chairs in the bedroom. There are 2, and one of them has ropes tied around the armrests. The chairs are in good condition, and the rope is definitely not there to keep the armrests fixed to the chair, as they're just loose. To this day, I have no idea why they were there. I still think I should sleep there just for the night and try to use a chair to block the door handle in the bedroom, like in the movies. But guys, this only works in the movies. I try with both chairs, trying to pile them up, even trying to use the ropes one way or another. The handle can still go down enough to open the door easily. I think that at least if I leave them in front of the door, I'll hear if someone tries to open it, but the door opens the other way. And in any case, I didn't know what I'd do even if the noise woke me up. Okay, I always had a question about the whole chair trick. You know the scene in a lot of these scary movies where they try to block the door so they lean a chair? How does that work? Is it just a movie thing, like a movie trick, and it doesn't actually work in real life? Because Opie's saying that she tried it and it doesn't work at all. Or does it depend on a specific type of handle?
I would say it's both handle and the chair. I think you jam it. You basically put the top part of the chair,
Yeah.
the one you I guess the seat rest part,
Mm-hmm.
the top of it, and you jam it underneath the I guess the doorknob.
But does it matter if the door is the type to have a handle or like a rounded
No, I
knob?
think the idea is that as you push the door, if you try to open it, the chair itself kind of acts like I guess like a
Oh, like a door
stop,
stopper?
like a door stopper, and
Oh. I feel like I'm going to practice this after this episode, guys,
I
just in case something happens.
I I would say it's probably wouldn't work too well if you just push the door open slightly and then like move the door back and forth. The chair would just fall over.
Oh, so the idea is if someone's trying to immediately rush in the door, it would maybe stop
Yeah,
the door.
I don't see that being a good idea, anyways.
Oh, man. This is
I,
such a scary movie scam.
in any case, in regards to the chair, I have my theories why that chair is there. I think that the Airbnb host is up to some
Okay.
potentially kinky stuff. That's why they have the chair there, and then maybe they forgot to move it or something.
Wait, you thought it was freaking. In my head, I'm thinking this guy's a serial killer. He's a serial killer. He lures his victims here through his Airbnb listings and he ties them up where they can't scream for help. And he just like rushes in when they're asleep and then ties them to the chair or something, does something to them. But honestly, I guess it's more realistic if he had a like a kinky fetish or something and he accidentally. Oh, what if, guys? Stay with me here. What if when the Airbnb owner said that he forgot his phone, it wasn't because he forgot his phone. It's because he forgot his chair, but he's too embarrassed to say it. So all he was trying to do was just go back and get that chair real quick and leave. But then he saw OP was there. So he's like, oh man, it'll be weird if I called it out now. So maybe she won't notice the chair and leaves. Right? Right?
I don't know. I'm just hoping that the OP does not wake up in that chair.
That's so terrifying. I'm going to be too scared to sleep now. Oh my gosh. No, there's more. OP says, again, I'm paranoid and anxious, but living alone abroad, my motto is to never ever take risks for my own safety, as I'm usually the only one who can save myself. So better avoid any tricky situations. OP, I don't think you're as careful as you think you are. Doesn't mean I can never go out, but I wouldn't get drunk around people I don't trust, and I would take a cab if I feel unsafe going home on my own after midnight. I now live in a city that's rather safe, but had too many bad encounters. Unfortunately, nothing unusual for most women not to be careful. So, from an external point of view, this is a story about someone booking an Airbnb with good reviews with a nice and friendly landlord who is just overly open because he likes to meet people and the ropes are just a detail. But for my anxious and paranoid self, it's like the premise for a horror story or thriller where you shout at the stupid and trusting victim to get away ASAP before the guy comes back. So, I decide to call my brother, who came to pick me up around midnight for me to spend the rest of my stay at his place. The one rational thing you did here, OP. Thank goodness for that. Well, I'm very glad that our OP survived to write the story and share it with us. I think the lesson here is at the first sign of the red flag, ditch the deposit, girl. It's not worth it. Your life is worth more than the Airbnb deposit. Okay? Say it with me now. When you see creep, you run away. You see red flag, you run the opposite direction. Okay? Don't try to wait it out. You can't wait out the crazy. I'm glad OP made it out. I think there were just so many opportunities for something bad to happen here. It stressed me out. I'm not even staying here, OP, and I'm stressed out for you. First comment from Helnick. Dude knocks, then opens the door without waiting for an answer. Yeah, you're not overreacting. Oh, another comment from Alarmed Handle. You were not overreacting. That man knew exactly what he was doing and likely would have let himself in again when you were less guarded. I had a similar situation in an Airbnb years ago with a male host who wasn't even supposed to be there according to the listing. I took one look at my room with no lock on the door and walked right out. Obviously, Airbnb didn't care about the blatant misled, but I was safe in a hotel. OP responds, sorry happened to you. In my case, I got a full refund for all nights, even if I still used the flat, the shower, etc. for several hours. Oh, happy ending after all. At least OP got that refund. Almost cost her life, but
As they should.
Yep. I'm surprised Airbnb actually gave her the refund. I've heard a lot of horror
I'm
stories.
not.
Really?
I mean, I would say if the place is not as described, right, and you have someone walking into your Airbnb, that I don't think that should be acceptable at all.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm thinking more about the actual place, but you're right. The behavior was just so off. I wouldn't even step inside. I'd be too scared. Like the fact that it was supposed to be a separate dwelling, like still, I guess somehow like close, like a attached area, but not like sharing a whole door with each other. That's just weird. Our next one addresses my own personal fear, guys. Be ready. We're getting up close and personal today because you're going to find out one of the things I'm most terrified of. This story is also from the subreddit Let's Not Meet. I realized that the clown I saw in the park wasn't friendly. Before I get into what happened, sorry for the storytelling. I've never been great at writing descriptively, and I'm honestly still at a loss for words. But that being said, last night, my friends and I went to the movies in hopes of watching The Joker 2. We hadn't bought the tickets online, and unfortunately, we got there just after the doors closed. But because we were already there, we decided to see what else was playing within the hour and decided on The Terrifier 3. None of us had heard of The Terrifier before, but it sounded interesting enough. However, soon after the movie started, I immediately felt my stomach drop. Have you ever heard of The Terrifier?
No idea what that is.
Good for you. For anyone who has never heard of The Terrifier, you're so lucky. I'm sorry I'm about to destroy your luck right now. Terrifier. I've never seen it myself for good reason. But Terrifier is a series of movies, and third one recently came out, of a horror clown. A clown that I think basically goes around unaliving people. How do you guys feel about clowns? I don't understand why clowns are ever hired at kids' parties. I think they are the most terrifying things to exist on this planet. Absolutely horrible. I would rather face a bear in the woods than a clown. Period. Like just give me the bear. Just let it happen. I'd rather let Mother Nature do its thing than let a clown do its thing. I am terrified. And I don't know if you guys remembered, but in the US, I think it was US only, in 2016-ish era timeframe, there was the clown scare where there would be a lot of people, real life people, dressing up as clowns to do horrible acts like scaring people, pranking people, I think stealing things. I don't know, just being downright terrifying. If you look up clown 2016 scare on the internet, you'll see what I mean. My point here is I absolutely refuse. Like, I will laugh with you while we're watching a horror movie, but if you're going to play a clown movie, goodbye. I'll see you after the movie. I am going to shut my eyes and take a nap. It is not for me. What is your perspective on clowns?
Don't really care for them.
Do you like them? Or do you hate them? Are you scared of them?
No.
Really? So if a clown came to like, I don't know, ran up to you in a scary way, you wouldn't be scared?
I don't think it matters that they're a clown.
Yes, it does. It's like 10 times creepier. I hate the big red nose. I hate the big shoes, the hair, the makeup. Everything about it is dreadful to me. You know, as a kid, when I saw a clown in a park, I had a nightmare when I went to sleep that night. It's not good. So my condolences to you, OP, for seeing The Terrifier. I don't know what. First of all, what kind of weirdo watches the third movie in the series? You've never seen Terrifier, so you're like, oh, okay, time to watch the third movie in the scary clown movie series. Like, why? Just why? OP, you weirdo. Now, OP continues. About 5 months ago, I went on a run at a park I'd never been to before. My aunt told me about how it had a great trail, and because it was finally getting warm out, I decided to go even though it was out of the way from where I live. To set the scene of this park, there was a big clearing where there were picnic benches, gazebos, and a playground. However, it was surrounded by a big forest, which was where the trail was. About 15 minutes into my run, my headphones' battery died. So I paused to put them away in my pouch. As I was opening my bag, I saw something out of the corner of my eye and looked into the trees to see a clown standing next to his car with a whole thing of balloons. The scene immediately scared the absolute shit out of me, as I've always been a huge true crime junkie, and I turned around and ran back to the clearing and eventually the parking lot. I cannot even begin to describe how psyched out I was. It literally felt like my heart was going to tear through my chest. But when I was sitting in my car, I noticed that there was a big group of young kids in the gazebo who were clearly having a birthday party, and I never felt dumber or more relieved in my life. It was obvious that the clown was meant for the party with his balloons, I laughed at myself even though I still felt on edge and drove back home. I'd forgotten about the incident up until last night. When I saw the clown in the movie's costume, I immediately felt sick. The man I saw in the forest was wearing the same exact costume. I don't know for sure whether this character's costume is unique to the movie or not, but after trying to look up similar clown costumes, I'm fairly certain it is. Everything was the same, even down to the stupid hat headband. I'm freaked the out, and I don't know what any of it means. If I really did come across some guy dressed as a fictional clown killer, why were they wearing it and why in the empty part of an old park? A big part of me hopes that it was some sort of twisted prank, but if so, why wouldn't he go somewhere where he knew people would see him? And after watching the movie, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some sick out there who idolized him in a morbid way. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is one of the scariest stories for me. You put a clown in there, immediately the scare rating goes up to like a 10. Oh, why are you just sitting there on straight face? This is horrifying. Emma's just over here laughing.
Not laughing. I'm just thinking, how does one end up in the clown profession? How do you become a professional clown?
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Do people just do it part-time, I guess? Or are some people actually full-time clowns?
Okay. I'm not one to judge people very much. But if I meet you and you tell me that your profession is being a clown, not only will I run away from you, literally, I just forget public etiquette and social etiquette. I would just run. I would just be bye. Like I don't know. I just wouldn't see you the same way. I'm sorry. Just if you work as a clown, just don't talk to me ever, please. It's terrifying. It's horrifying. There must be something wrong with you. I'm sorry. That is my hot take on clowns. They're terrifying to me. But how does one become a clown? Is there a clown school? And then what do they teach you? How to do clown makeup, clown hair, and freak people out?
I think there's more to that. I can't say that I've seen a clown show, but I'm guessing they perform some kind of tricks or entertain you in some way. But to me, in general, just the idea of a clown costume, like who came up with that and why is it so popular? I guess maybe it's not popular. Maybe it's
I
just
feel like it used to be way more popular because it used to be more normalized that kids would have, like, families or parents might hire a clown to perform at their kid's birthday party. Which now I think about, why? To do what?
see that's why I have my all these questions. It's such a weird concept to me. A clown. I get someone entertaining you, but to
To do,
dress up
like,
as I guess a clown like that I don't know.
it's terrifying.
I wonder what the origins of a clown
I'm not gonna lie to you
clowns
guys.
are.
The one time I went to McDonald's and McDonald's was holding an event where someone was dressed up as Ronald McDonald, it scared me.
Oh yeah, I just realized that. Yeah,
Ronald McDonald's a clown, right?
right.
He's terrifying. He's creepy. Hey, if you guys feel passionately about clowns, I apologize, but this is just my own personal opinion. And if you have any stories with clowns or any fears of your own, share them. Let me know. Let me know I'm not the only one who finds clowns terrifying. Actually, I kind of find it funny though that the clown's name Terrifier in the movie. Get it? Terrifier. The clown is terrifying and he terrorizes people. So the Terrifier, the clown. Is that why his name is?
I guess, but I can't really get behind that name.
It's
To me,
kind of bad,
just
right?
this sounds bad. Terrifier.
I'm pretty
It's
sure.
like I don't know if you called like terrorizer. I don't know. It's just I think even terrorizer sounds better than terrifier. It just doesn't sound good.
Okay, so I just made a mistake of looking up Terrifier poster. I regret it immediately. So I'm going to not look at it anymore, but you guys can see it. I'll pan it for you guys really quickly. So close your eyes if you're watching me, if you don't want to see this. I'm showing M right now. Tell me that is not the scariest, freaky looking clown ever.
Why does he have a tiny little hat that's on the side?
It's kind of absurd. Wait, how does he keep on his head though?
Probably
A clip?
clipped
Wait,
on.
isn't he bald?
Maybe he has a little tuft of hair there.
Can you imagine the terrified clown? He has a little black hat. Imagine he drops it, so then you see a little tuft of hair, like keeping it in gelled to keep it in spot. I'm dead. Ah! I just saw it. I don't want to see it. Ugh. Terrifying. So let's look at the comments. First comment from Coffee and Books. Did they have the exact same face as the clown in Terrifier? Because that face is purposefully terrifying. So if so, it definitely wasn't for the kids' party. Crying emojis. OP responded, I couldn't see everything in detail as there was some distance between us, but I know for certain that they had the white makeup with black eyes and mouth. Yeah, I'd never go to that park again. Absolutely not. Nope. Another comment responded, the Terrified movies have a cult following, so they're definitely weirdos that idolize it. It was originally a short and became a movie much later. I don't think the original film premiered in theaters till recently. I'm a big horror fan, but not for gore. So I've never watched them, but I know they're effed up. So I'm guessing from this comment that Terrifier is a movie I'll never want to watch. So I guess it's just super killy, almost like I'm guessing it's a slasher movie with a clown, which for me is my worst nightmare. So yeah, I'll say it for OP here. Let's not meet clowns ever. How's your scare rating for this story? On scale 1 to 10, 10 being horrifying or terrifying.
Boo.
What? This is scary. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
See, I don't. I personally don't find this scary.
I'm over here stressing about every story, and then I just see M just like, giggling on the side sometimes too. Ah. All right. Well, you guys know I like to end our episodes in a wholesome or fun way. So I'm not sure if this is actually wholesome, but it's fun. So our last story is from the subreddit True Scary Stories. Very similar to Let's Not Meet. OPs basically share true scary stories that happen to them. So let's see what happened to this one. OP says, I was accidentally the cause of someone else's scary encounter. When I was maybe around 10, I stayed with my aunt and her family in Maryland. The area is suburban, but not densely populated at all. I was playing with my cousin near this really big park that was surrounded by woods and weirdly secluded. I never remember more than maybe 1 or 2 people there at a time. We played some version of manhunt, and I was hiding from him in the woods as best as I could. So I thought. What's manhunt? Is that tag? Sounds like tag. Or hide and seek. Maybe hide and seek. Some version of hide and seek or tag, I'm assuming. Obi continues, a female jogger happened to be running on the jogging path maybe 45 minutes before sundown. I remember it getting dark and the weather being pretty chilly. Somehow, she caught a glimpse of me, the little bit of me that was somehow visible from her angle. To this day, I think it must have been super bad luck for both of us, because the odds of her seeing me were low. She was spooked and was trembling. From her reaction, I assumed this woman must have been a victim of something serious in the past. This was not in any way a Karen situation. She shouted with the type of desperation you have when you scream during dreaming. I see you. What do you want from me? I know someone's watching me. She then started screaming for help. I absolutely panicked. I froze, totally didn't know what to do. It was such a unique and strange circumstance that my brain could barely process it. I finally sprinted away as fast as I could. From time to time, I think about that poor woman and I feel so bad for her for causing her stress. I'll never forget the distress from her screaming. Okay, this is not funny, I know, but I shouldn't laugh, but this is what I imagine would happen to me. You know, if I'm taking a walk in the woods, me being my paranoid self, oh, I see a little shadow or some random person walking behind me, and I'm immediately going to think the worst. I really am. So I just feel bad for both the woman and OP in this situation. Like, imagine you're just a kid playing hide and seek with your friend, it's getting a little late, and you accidentally terrorize a woman. I wonder how many of these, like, let's not meet or like scary stories actually have like another perspective where someone just, is in the wrong place, wrong time, and maybe the lighting or the sound just hits the wrong way, creating this huge misunderstanding. So, yeah, I feel like I kind of feel bad for Ovi. The fact that he still remembers it years later, I feel that. I would remember this too. Do you think this would ever happen to you? Like, if you were in a park alone and then you see a shadow of something or someone, what's your first instinct? Would you scream? Would you run away? Would you try and attack it? Would you go towards it?
I don't think I would scream.
Yeah, I can't imagine M screaming. I can't imagine you going, help.
I think I would. It would depend on the situation. I guess I could probably judge whether they're coming for me or there's just someone, I don't know, like a kid, I guess, playing hide and seek or something like that.
I guess it's from afar and it's late too, so she couldn't really see.
I mean, even if I saw someone in the woods, I wouldn't I might get spooked if it was like, I don't know, getting dark. I was alone and like walking through the woods, and then someone came out of nowhere. I might get spooked, but I wouldn't. I don't think I would have the reaction. Oh, you're watching me. I can see you. I know you're there.
Why not? I think the woman was just straight up panicking at that point.
Yeah,
It went from her seeing someone to like realizing, like, I guess panicking, full on panic mode.
yeah. Or as OP said, maybe it's due to previous trauma or
Yeah, or
something like
something.
something like that. So
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am horrible in these types of situations. I think if this happened to me, I'd like to say that I would either run away quickly or hide or do something beneficial to me at this moment in time. But the more realistic scenario, I think I would just freeze and be confused. Like, I think I would. Why are you nodding your head?
yeah,
What?
you tend to freeze in a lot of situations where you need to have a quick reaction or make a decision quickly. You just freeze.
Because I feel like I just let me stop and think. But then I think my brain is at that point in shock, so then it just shuts down. It's just like, it's all over. It's all I'm done for.
See if we were living, 10,000 years ago, where we had to run away from a potential predator, you wouldn't make it.
Excuse me. What is that? I think you told me this before. It's like I've asked M scenarios. Like sometimes I'll ask him like dumb questions based on movies we watch or just random thoughts, right? I'll say, if there's a zombie apocalypse and we had to run, like, do you think I would make it, or like what would we do? You know what M said? He said I wouldn't make it. He said I'd be the slowest one. And the slowest one always gets knocked out first. Excuse you. Have some faith. Maybe I would be able to hide very neatly somewhere
We get hungry within an hour.
and then crawl out, and like
Yeah.
that would be my undoing. I would get hungry and then I'll be like, well, hunger, survival, hunger wins. Here we go. So very true. We got a comment from Better Ideal, but it's not your fault. No one's at fault. It's just that you guys met at an inappropriate time. Another comment says, you didn't mean to. Kids playing hide and seek don't expect to traumatize strangers. It was just an unfortunate fluke accident for everyone involved. Another comment's offering something OP could have done from Ms. What's It. Quote, ma'am, we mean you no harm. We're just some kids playing hide and seek. We all apologize for startling you. OP responded, being 10 and being super afraid and confused is hell of a drug.
Yeah, I would not think that a 10-year-old would have that type of reaction and in that situation would be able to form those sentences. That's that's asking for too much, in my opinion.
I agree. I think in an ideal situation that would have been fantastic. But I'm just imagining it's sundown or like getting there to sunset time. So it's pretty late. You're in the freaking woods. You don't expect anyone there. A woman is screaming hysterics at you, like, and totally having a meltdown. I would freeze. OP, imagine OP just, I'm just imagining he has a little hat, and a little jacket on. And he's just like, ma'am, I am but a wee 10-year-old child playing hide and seek. I did not mean to spook you.
I mean no harm.
I mean no harm. That would be creepier. I think that would actually be creepier. That would freak me out even more. If all of a sudden this polite kid shows up out of nowhere. Oh, I know this is supposed to be a scary episode, guys, but there is something funny about the most horrific situations. I think it's a mix of like sometimes when you're so terrified, for me, I get so scared that I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or freeze. So then I think I lean towards laughter. What's your fear reaction? Your gut instinct when you get scared?
See, I don't think it would be laughter. I'm laughing here because I don't want to say these situations are harmless, but at the end of the day, I don't think anything, I guess, horrible has happened.
Yet.
I mean,
Yet.
yeah, or I mean, it could have happened, which I wouldn't be laughing in that case.
Yeah.
But
We can laugh because it's in hindsight.
Right.
We're not involved. It's always nicer from afar.
yeah, but if someone was actually harmed, then I would
Yeah.
not be laughing in that case.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I hope you guys will be having a wonderful Halloween. And I hope you had a really nice start to it with our episode today. And if you guys want to hear more scary or spooky stories, let me know what you thought of this one. I think this is a little bit different from our usual style, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little terrified and spooked still from some of the stories, but I'm willing to have another go if you guys are into stories like this. And don't forget, if you haven't yet, like this episode and hit subscribe, guys. We are so close to the elusive 3K subscribers in our family. So let's get to it. And if you're listening to me on Spotify, don't forget to give me 5 stars, guys. And happy Halloween. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.